It began with a voicemail. Not a scream. Not static. Just one sentence. Something is wrong in Black Hollow, they're not acting normal. The message was sent at 2:17 a.m. By sunrise, the entire town was gone. The town no one talks about. Black Hollow was small. Population, 312. Tucked deep in the mountains, 3 hours from the nearest city. No major highway. No tourism. No reason to be famous. Until October 14, 2003. That morning, a delivery truck arrived with bread and dairy supplies. The driver noticed something strange. No lights on. No cars moving. No smoke from chimneys. At first, he assumed it was early. Then he walked into town. Every door was open. Every meal half finished. Every phone line dead. But no bodies. No blood. No signs of struggle. Just silence. The police report. Local authorities arrived by noon. They searched. Homes. The school. The grocery store. The church. Everything looked normal, frozen in time. In the elementary classroom, math problems were half solved. In the diner, coffee cups were still warm. In one house, the TV was still playing static. But every single person was missing. All 312. No footprints leaving town. No vehicle tracks. No signs of evacuation. It was as if the town had simply blinked out. The sheriff's theory. Sheriff Daniel Crow believed it was mass hysteria. Maybe a cult. Maybe coordinated disappearance. Until he found the forest trail. Behind the church, fresh footprints. Hundreds of them. All leading into the woods. None coming back, state police joined. Helicopters scanned the mountains. Thermal cameras picked up nothing. Search dogs lost scent exactly 2 miles into the forest. As if the trail ended mid-step. One officer reported something chilling. The trees are too quiet. No insects. No birds. No wind. Just dead air. The first survivor. 3 days later, they found someone. A 9-year-old boy named Ethan Ward. He was sitting alone near a riverbank, staring at the water. Alive. Unharmed. But silent. When questioned, he whispered only one sentence. They told us to follow the light. What light? The detective asked. Ethan looked confused. The one above the trees. The government steps in. Within 48 hours, federal vehicles arrived. Not FBI. Not National Guard. Unmarked black SUVs. Agents ordered local police to step back. The area was sealed. News reports were brief. Official statement. Residents relocated due to environmental contamination. But no contamination was ever recorded. No chemical spill. No radiation. Nothing. The hidden audio recording. Months later, an independent journalist obtained leaked audio from a deputy's body cam. The footage captured something never released publicly. In the forest, near where the footprints stopped, a faint humming sound. Low frequency. Constant. Almost mechanical. The deputy whispered. Do you hear that? The audio cuts out. The pattern. Journalist Mara Keene began investigating similar cases. And she found something disturbing. Black Hollow wasn't the first. In 1978, a small Alaskan village reported mass disappearance. In 1986, a research station in Canada vanished overnight. In 1999, a rural mining camp in Chile abandoned without explanation. Each case. Remote location. Small population. Sudden disappearance. Government silence. And one more detail. In each case, multiple witnesses reported lights in the sky days before. Ethan's drawing. Before Ethan was placed into federal custody, he drew something. Crayon on paper. A circle above trees. Lines coming down from it. And small stick figures walking upward. When shown the drawing years later, a retired officer admitted. "We were told to destroy that. But one copy survived." Local hunter's trail camera was recovered weeks later. It captured images the night before the disappearance. Frame 1, town road, normal. Frame 2, bright glow in the sky. Frame 3, static interference. Frame 4, empty road. Timestamp difference between frame 1 and frame 4. 3 seconds. Residents from nearby towns claimed they were questioned and asked to sign confidentiality forms. One farmer said. "They asked if I saw anything strange in the sky. I said yes. They told me I didn't." His statement never appeared in official records. The chilling discovery. 10 years later, satellite imagery of the Black Hollow area revealed something unexpected. The forest where the footprints ended was slightly different. Tree growth pattern in a perfect circular formation. As if something large had once pressed down and altered soil density. Diameter. Exactly the size of the town center. The final line of Part 1. The last official document regarding Black Hollow states. Case closed, natural relocation event. Natural. Relocation. Event. 3 words that explain nothing. But the most disturbing fact. Every 10 to 12 years, another small isolated community somewhere in the world disappears. And just days before it happens, reports of strange lights begin. The official story never changed. Black Hollow was declared an environmental hazard zone. Fenced. Guarded. Forgotten. But 10 years later, something surfaced. And it was never meant to. The leaked file. In 2013, journalist Mara Keene received an anonymous package. No return address. Inside. A flash drive. A classified document labeled BH03 event. And a note that read. They don't disappear. They are processed. The file contained internal communication between federal agencies. One line stood out. Subject population demonstrated compliance response upon visual stimulus. Compliance response. That wasn't evacuation. That was control. The hypnosis session. Before Ethan Ward disappeared into federal custody, a psychologist conducted a private hypnosis session. That recording was never released. Until now. Under hypnosis, Ethan spoke calmly. They told us not to be afraid. Who told you? The doctor asked. The tall ones. What did they want? To take us somewhere safe. Safe from what? Long pause. From what's coming. The light above the trees. According to Ethan's hypnotic regression. The entire town woke up at the same time. 2:14 a.m. No alarms. No noise. Just an overwhelming feeling. Like a vibration inside their heads. They walked outside together. Not forced. Not panicked. Calm. Above the forest line hovered a circular light. Silent. Not blinking like aircraft. Not moving like a drone. Just there. And somehow, it felt familiar. Audio engineers analyzed the leaked bodycam humming sound from the forest. It wasn't random noise. It was a low-frequency tone at 19 Hz. Interestingly, 19 Hz is known to cause anxiety, hallucinations, visual distortions, a sense of presence. But in Black Hollow, there was no panic. No chaos. Just synchronized movement. As if the frequency wasn't causing fear. It was guiding them. The circle in the soil. Soil samples taken years later revealed something abnormal. High levels of magnetic disturbance. Metallic particulates not native to the region. Microscopic fused quartz, the kind formed under extreme heat or pressure. But no explosion occurred. No fire. No blast crater. Just compressed earth in a perfect circle. Exactly where the footprints stopped. The Alaska connection. Mara traced the 1978 Alaskan disappearance. Population, 46. Similar pattern. Forest trail. Like reported. Government intervention. But she discovered something chilling. 1 year before Black Hollow vanished. Satellite anomalies were recorded over the same Alaskan region again. As if something had returned to check. Or recalibrate. The pattern expands. Mara's investigation uncovered a global pattern. 1978, Alaska. 1986, Canada. 1999, Chile. 2003, Black Hollow. Each event roughly 10 to 12 years apart. Each involving small, isolated communities. Each preceded by reports of lights. And one more disturbing similarity. In each case, population numbers were between 40 and 400. Never large cities. Never crowded areas. Selective. Controlled. Targeted. The government insider. The anonymous sender contacted Mara again. This time via encrypted email. I worked in data analysis, he wrote. There's a predictive model. He claimed there was a classified algorithm tracking. Population density. Resource strain. Behavioral stability. Environmental impact. And when certain thresholds were crossed. A correction occurred. Mara asked. Correction by who? The reply came hours later. We don't know. We just monitor. Years later, Ethan, now an adult, briefly reappeared online under a fake identity. He posted one cryptic message before disappearing again. We weren't taken randomly. Then one final sentence. We were chosen because we would survive. Survive what? No one knows. But if the disappearances were removals. They weren't punishments. They were selections. The disturbing theory. What if these events aren't invasions? What if they're evacuations? What if small communities are quietly removed before something larger happens? Some researchers noticed something unsettling. Major global crises often follow within years of each disappearance. Economic collapses. Pandemics. Environmental disasters. As if someone, or something, is preparing samples of humanity elsewhere. Just in case. The forest returns. In 2018, hikers illegally crossed into the sealed Black Hollow zone. They reported something impossible. In the center of the circular clearing. They saw lights again. Hovering. Silent. The hikers' footage cuts abruptly after a burst of static. They were found later. Alive. Confused. Claiming they only hiked for 2 hours. But GPS logs showed 36 hours missing. If the town was removed. Where did they go? And why haven't any of them returned? Unless. Return was never part of the plan. The final reveal of Part 2. At the end of the leaked file, one final classification label appears. Phase 1, extraction complete. Below it. Phase 2, integration pending. Integration. That word doesn't suggest destruction. It suggests relocation. And assimilation. What if integration wasn't about returning them? What if it meant merging them into something else? A retired government physicist, speaking anonymously, offered a chilling possibility. If you were preparing a parallel habitat, you wouldn't take everyone. You'd take samples. Healthy. Adaptable. Socially stable communities. Not chaotic cities. Small towns. Tightly bonded populations. Like Black Hollow. The missing time phenomenon. The hikers who crossed into Black Hollow's restricted zone in 2018 weren't the only ones reporting lost time. Across the world, scattered individuals have reported bright lights in remote areas, sudden memory gaps, hours missing from digital devices. And in each case, subtle electromagnetic spikes were recorded nearby. Almost as if brief doorways had opened and closed. Mara interviewed a theoretical physicist who studied advanced simulation models. He explained something unsettling. If you wanted to preserve humanity from extinction-level events, you might run simulations, extract communities, test outcomes, refine variables. Black Hollow might not have been relocated physically. It might have been transferred digitally. Consciousness uploaded. Bodies irrelevant. That would explain. No remains. No transport evidence. No crash debris. Just absence. Ethan's second statement. Years after his cryptic online post, Ethan resurfaced again. This time through an encrypted forum used by researchers. He wrote only this. I remember the sky opening. Not a ship. Not a beam. An opening. He described it as a tear in the night. And beyond it? Not stars. But something brighter. Layered. Structured. Artificial. In the 1999 Chile mining camp case, there was also one survivor. A geologist found wandering days later. He never spoke publicly. But classified psychiatric notes described something he said repeatedly. It wasn't a rescue. It was a transfer. When doctors asked where the others went, he replied. They crossed. Crossed where? He refused to explain further. The unsettling data model. The anonymous insider contacted Mara one final time. He sent a single chart. It showed projected global instability over the next 50 years. Pandemics. Climate shifts. Resource shortages. And highlighted in red were dates. The disappearance years. As if the extractions happened just before critical global shifts. Almost like someone was building a backup civilization. Before collapse. The sky event. In 2021, amateur astronomers recorded something strange. A brief atmospheric distortion over the Pacific anomaly coordinates. Lasting only 4 seconds. Like light bending. Not lightning. Not aurora. Just a ripple. The footage was dismissed as lens flare. But frame-by-frame analysis showed something else. For a fraction of a second, a grid-like structure appeared in the distortion. Then vanished. The question no one wants to ask. If communities are being selected and integrated elsewhere. Who decides? And how? Why Black Hollow? Why Alaska? Why Chile? The Data Insider's final message offered one haunting answer. Behavioral Stability Index. They weren't random towns. They were peaceful ones. Low crime. High cooperation. Minimal internal conflict. Ideal social units. They weren't removed because they were weak. They were taken because they worked. The most terrifying possibility. What if Earth isn't the only version of humanity running? What if somewhere, beyond visible space, there's another Black Hollow? And another. And another. Each one tested. Adjusted. Integrated. Refined. And when global collapse finally comes, only one version survives. Mara receives one final encrypted transmission. Not text. Not numbers. Just a short video clip. It shows a quiet suburban street at night. Children playing under streetlights. Families laughing. It looks normal. Peaceful. Until the camera tilts upward. Above the trees. A faint circular glow begins to form. And the screen cuts to black. If Black Hollow was extracted. If Alaska, Chile, and others were transferred. Then the question is no longer where they went. The real question is. Has anyone seen them since? Because in 2022, someone might have. The observatory footage. In rural Nevada, a privately funded observatory captured something unusual. It wasn't searching for UFOs. It was tracking atmospheric lensing distortions, rare fluctuations in light refraction. At 3:11 a.m., the system flagged an anomaly. A circular distortion appeared in the sky for exactly 2.4 seconds. During those seconds, the telescope auto-zoomed. What it captured wasn't stars. It wasn't space. It looked like a landscape. Blurry. But structured. Streetlights. Buildings. Movement. Like looking through warped glass at another town. Then it vanished. Frame analysis. Video experts slowed the footage to 1/400th speed. For less than a second, 3 frames showed something chilling. A signboard. Wooden. Familiar. The word hollow partially visible. Authorities dismissed it as pixel artifact. The observatory was quietly audited. Funding was withdrawn 2 months later. A physicist studying quantum entanglement proposed a radical idea. What if integration doesn't move them across space? But across phase? Meaning. Not another planet. Not underground. But slightly out of sync with our reality. Close enough to overlap. Far enough to remain unseen. Like 2 radio stations sharing similar frequencies. If tuned correctly. You might hear both at once. 3 residents from separate states reported something strange on the same night. They described seeing 2 moons. A faint grid behind the stars. And distant silhouettes above tree lines. Each report occurred within 48 hours of the Nevada Observatory anomaly. Social media posts were deleted. Accounts suspended. Posts labeled misinformation. But archived screenshots still exist. In a small Oregon town, a 6-year-old child woke up screaming. Her parents recorded what she said. They're practicing. Satellite imagery briefly captured a geometric reflection in the Pacific anomaly zone. Not a ship. Not a platform. A grid. Perfectly symmetrical. For less than 5 seconds. Then cloud cover intensified. Weather satellites glitched simultaneously. The event was archived under optical interference. But one analyst noted something odd. The pattern resembled street layouts. Small. Organized. Like a town square. Ethan's final return. In late 2024, Ethan Ward appeared in a single frame of a live stream. Not on purpose. The stream belonged to a travel vlogger hiking near a restricted forest in Colorado. In the background, barely visible between trees. A man stood watching. Face familiar. Unaged. Exactly as Ethan looked at 9 years old. The vlogger never noticed. But viewers clipped the frame. When compared to old photographs. It was him. The other town. What other town? The one above ours. She later drew a picture. 2 identical towns. One upside down above the other. Connected by beams of light. The behavioral index. Mara obtained part of the insider's predictive model. It wasn't just about population or resources. It measured social harmony. Conflict resolution rates. Cooperative behaviors. Emotional resilience. Communities with high cohesion scores were flagged. Marked in yellow. Then red. Then, removed. Almost as if someone was selecting optimal human samples for replication. The Black Hollow broadcast. A ham radio operator in Montana reported intercepting something bizarre. A voice transmission repeating. Town status stable. Signal origin. Unknown. Frequency drifted slightly off standard spectrum. The operator tried responding. Static. Then faintly. Integration successful. Authorities confiscated his equipment days later. The mirror hypothesis. What if the extracted towns are being rebuilt? Recreated in a controlled environment. Test civilizations. To observe. How humans react to controlled crises. How societies evolve under subtle stress. How long peace lasts before conflict emerges. And once a version fails. Reset. Recalibrate. Try again. If that's true. Black Hollow might still exist. Just not here. For over 20 years, the pattern remained hidden in fragments. Remote towns. Strange lights. Government silence. Missing time. But in 2026, something changed. This time, it wasn't remote. This time, it wasn't quiet. This time, millions were watching. The night the sky flickered. It started as a viral video. A teenager in a mid-sized US city was live streaming from his rooftop. Behind him, the skyline glowed softly under normal city lights. Then the sky flickered. Not lightning. Not a glitch. The stars above the city seemed to shift, just slightly, like a layer sliding out of alignment. For 3 seconds, a faint circular distortion formed above downtown. People on the stream began commenting. Is that CGI? Bro, what is that? Zoom in. Then the live stream cut out. Within minutes, thousands of viewers had screen recorded it. Clips spread across every platform. Hashtags exploded. And for the first time, the phenomenon wasn't isolated in a forest. It was over a city of 400,000 people. At 2:14 a.m., the same time Black Hollow woke up in 2003. The city experienced a coordinated power failure. No storm. No grid overload warning. Just darkness. Emergency generators kicked in. Hospitals switched to backup power. But across several neighborhoods, people reported the same thing. A humming sound. Low. Vibrating. Familiar. 19 Hz. The same frequency recorded in Black Hollow's forest. The missing block. When power returned 11 minutes later, something felt wrong. Police received dozens of calls. Not about damage. Not about theft. But confusion. Residents from one specific neighborhood reported. Something's off. Within hours, the truth emerged. An entire residential block, 47 houses, was empty. Cars still parked. Front doors unlocked. Dinner plates on tables. Phones on kitchen counters. Pets left behind. No signs of struggle. No footprints. Just absence. Population count of the missing block. Exactly the same number as Black Hollow. This time, the response was immediate and visible. Federal agencies sealed the area within 2 hours. Media helicopters were forced back. Officials declared a gas leak evacuation. But no gas company reported a leak. No medical reports showed poisoning. No bodies were found. Social media videos were flagged and removed. News outlets were pressured to use the phrase temporary relocation. The same language from 2003. Mara's final discovery. Mara Keene, now considered obsessed by many, compared the data. Population, 312. Time, 2:14 a.m. Frequency spike, 19 Hz. Circular sky distortion. It wasn't random. It was scheduled. The insider who once sent her files never responded again. But one final encrypted folder appeared in her inbox. Inside, a chart titled Phase 3, Expansion. Below it, projected dates, projected cities, projected population counts. The numbers were growing. Ethan's message. 2 days after the city block vanished, a video appeared on a hidden forum. No username. No metadata. Just a man standing in soft daylight. Behind him, a town square. Children playing. People walking peacefully. Architecture similar to Black Hollow. The man spoke calmly. It was Ethan. Still Unaged. Still exactly as he looked at 9 years old. He said. We're safe. They told us it's almost ready. They said the old world won't survive what's coming. He paused. They're taking the best of us. The video ended. Mara realized something chilling. The extractions were increasing in frequency. 1978. 1986. 1999. 2003. Then nothing for years. And now. But the scale was growing. Small villages. Towns. Now city blocks. What happens when the population target isn't 300? But 30,000? Or 3 million? The real purpose. The insider's original words echoed. We don't cause collapse. We prepare for it. What if the extractions are not invasions? Not experiments. But survival programs? What if something catastrophic is mathematically inevitable? Climate failure. Solar flare. Global systems breakdown. And someone, or something, has been quietly building a backup civilization. Selecting cooperative communities. Testing them. Refining them. Improving them. And when the final collapse comes, only the integrated survive. The final broadcast. Weeks after the city block vanished, emergency broadcasts across multiple states glitched simultaneously. For 7 seconds, screens displayed a circular symbol. And beneath it, text. Observation complete. Then everything returned to normal. Officials blamed a software malfunction. But analysts noticed something disturbing. The glitch occurred at exactly 2:14 a.m. Across 3 time zones. The last question. If the pattern is accelerating. If integration is expanding. If the sky distortions are becoming visible. Then the next extraction may not be hidden. It may not be rural. It may not be quiet. It could be anywhere. And the most unsettling truth. The selected communities aren't random. They are stable. Peaceful. Cooperative. If your neighborhood feels safe. If your community works together. If crime is low and harmony is high. You might already be on the list. Final scene. Night falls over a quiet suburban neighborhood. Children laugh in driveways. Streetlights glow softly. The camera slowly tilts upward. The stars shimmer. Then, barely visible, a faint circular ripple forms above the trees. The humming begins. Low. Constant. Familiar. And the screen fades to black.